What's going on, guys? I'm doing a video on how to change your oil on a 2001 Civic Si Coupe. In the States, the car is identical. It's just the EX. For some reason in Canada and all around the world, it's the Si. And in the States, it's the EX. Things that you'll need. You're going to need a 17 socket. And you're also going to need a wrench. Now, I got quite the long one here.
Oh my.
I'll try using a shorter one first, but they say you don't need a lot of torque to get those oil nuts off there, but I'm telling you, the first time I changed it, I needed all the torque I can get, because I was doing chin-ups before I had the breaker bar off, and it wasn't doing anything. Also, an oil filter is what you're going to need here, so here's the size and specs of that right there. That's pretty much it. So, let's get started. Let's go onto the car. So anyways, here I got my car jacked up on ramps here. You can just jack up one side of your car if you want, but for God's sakes, you're going to be going underneath your car, so please be careful. Make sure it's up good. I got that up on there, and the e-brake's on, and it's a gear 1, so rolling back most likely won't happen. And we need an oil pan here as well. So, let's get started. And gloves. Gloves are good to have too. So a quick thing we're going to do here is, see this right here? We're just going to hold... Fuck, that was a close one. Always make sure that's in there securely. So, sorry, as I was saying, one quick tip you can do is, before you take off the bolt on your oil pan down below, which we're going to get to in a second, unscrew this. It's just going to help your oil flow out easier. And another thing, before you do anything, let your car run a little bit. Let it cool off, obviously, because you don't want your oil being too hot, but it'll help the oil flow out easier if your car is just a little bit warm. So we're just going to go ahead, screw this off, and there we go. Oh, for fuck's sakes. So what are we looking for, you may ask? Right here is our nut here, and our oil filter is up here. I'll get a shot of that later, but right now we want to focus about taking this off. So you're going to need your 17 socket, and you're going to put it on here, and if you're still a little bit confused, there is a letters here that point to this nut that says engine oil. Can't get much easier than that. So let's go ahead and take this off. Fuck. As you can see, oh, fuck. As you can see, this little thing isn't working.
Oh my.
So we're going to go ahead and get some more leverage here. You should always prepare by having something that can give you more leverage, because you're going to need it. Usually with my luck, I do. Alright, now this is placed. If you can just try to get this off. Jeez, it's really on here good. Oh man, this is tight.
Oh my.
There we go. That should do it. Now that it's getting loose, make sure to get your oil pan ready and in position. Alright, and I can pretty much get it with my hands now, so here we go. Get ready. Make sure this bucket's here, because this can be an environmental hazard. It's gonna come any second now.
Oh my.
Always remember to let your oil cool down, though it is nice to keep it warm so it comes out easier. Don't let it be too hot, because it comes out pretty quick, as you can see in the video there, and it kind of burnt my hands a little bit. And there she goes. You can see her going into the bucket right now quite freely. Make sure your bucket is big enough, because more will come out than you think.
Oh my.
Nice and black here, so you can tell that it needed to be changed, because it's dirty. So just let this run, and let it run for a bit. Make sure it's not dripping at all. And it is good to leave it a little bit warm. It will come out a little bit better. So let your car run for a couple minutes. Just make sure it's not hot like I did earlier. So it's been about 2 minutes now, and it's still dripping a tiny bit, so I'm just going to leave it. But now we're going to move on to the oil filter. So next we're going to do the oil filter, which is very hard to see right here because the oil's dripping and I don't want to get it on my camera. But it is that white thing. If you can see it up there, it is a very hard angle, so it's hard for me to see it, but it's right up there, pretty much right above your oil pan and a little bit to the right. you need to go right by the axle there to get to it. So I just recorded myself taking out the oil filter, but we didn't have any luck because I actually didn't press the record button. So here's an oil filter here in our old oil dripping. So you're going to reach it, it's right up there, and you're going to reach it and you're just going to unscrew it, lefty-loosey of course. And you shouldn't need any leverage. You should be able to just use your hand to unscrew it. But unscrew it really slow, and when it starts leaking, don't unscrew it right away, just leave it. Because if you unscrew it all the way right fast, the oil will come out and it'll go right down your sleeve, because you know, you're just reaching up there with your hand, and obviously gravity, your hand's right underneath, so you're going to get soaked with oil. So unscrew it slow and get it out, and I just put it right here in my disposable oil stuff for now, because it's already going to be covered in oil anyways, and as am I, so yeah. That's why I need the gloves. So I don't know how to stop recording here because there's so much oil in my hands, but we'll figure it out. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and put our new oil filter on, and I'm going to go over that. So let's do it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our new oil filter, and we're going to take some of our new oil, not the old oil, the new oil, and we're going to put it right around here. You should be wearing gloves, but I ran out of all the gloves. So we're going bare hand for this one. Right around like that. Adding oil. So, if you didn't screw it off earlier, like I said, to help it flow easier, now you're going to do that again. For fuck's sakes, not again. So now we're going to go ahead and fill up our oil here. So for the amount, I don't really know. You can check that out online, but I just have a big thing of it here, so I'm not going to measure by quarts. I'm just going to put some in and then check the dipstick. Then put some in and check the dipstick. Going to make it hard for myself here. Anyways, I screwed the oil filter on. When you screw on the oil filter, just to make sure it's tight, all you have to do is make it tight by screwing it on by your hand. That's all you need to do. Just put it on as tight as you can with your hand. You don't need to go over the top, but make sure it's nice and snug. Anyways, and of course you put oil around the top of it. Now let's put our oil back in the car. So another quick tip to tell you is always make sure to screw on your oil nut.
So I forgot to show you guys, but it's pretty easy. The last thing you want to do is check your oil. So after you put in the desired amount, well, you got to figure out what the desired amount is. So what you got to do is lower your car back down after everything's back on, keep it on flat ground, make sure it's completely cooled off, and you're going to take your dipstick out and you're going to wipe it clean with a clean rag because you don't want any dirt getting into your engine. And you're going to put the dipstick back in and take it back out and see where the oil level is. You want it to be in between the low and in between the full lines or dots or whatever you have. I like keeping mine a little bit towards the full because my car burns oil. So, yeah.
So that's pretty much it for my video here. The only other thing I can say is, you know, it might be a good idea just to look in your oil if you ever let your oil run too low. Check it out and make sure, move it around a bit and just see if there's anything gross in here, any shreds of metal. Because if there is, then you could be having a problem with your vehicle, and if you're finding that it's not running good, that could be the reason. Yeah, and yeah, that's it. Sorry about the shakiness. I'm literally holding this up here as I speak. But yeah, so that's it for the video. That's how to change your oil in a 2001 Civic, and also any other cars that you have. This might help as well. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll leave more details of what you need in the description. So if you forget what tools you need, what type of oil you need, they're down below. Alright? Anyways, take her easy. Hope the video helped. Have a good day.